Friday night, the group text blows up around 8:47 p.m. Cody's birthday, rooftop bar downtown. Everyone's going. You read the thread, all 14 messages, the gifs, the yeses, and the on my way, and the tagged location with the little flame emoji. You set the phone face down on the desk. You go back to what you were doing. By midnight, the notification badge has climbed to 47. You're asleep by 10:45. Nobody calls to check. The thread moves on without you. 8 months earlier, you were the one who always showed up. Every birthday dinner at some restaurant where the bill gets split 12 ways and someone orders 2 rounds without asking. Every pregame that starts at 9 and ends at 2 on a Tuesday. Every it's just one drink that never is. You showed up because that's what you did. Because not showing up meant explaining yourself, and explaining yourself meant admitting something you hadn't figured out how to say yet. You were 27, living in a 2-bedroom in Columbus with a roommate you liked well enough, making $58, $0 a year at a company that sold software to mid-sized logistics firms. The job was fine. The apartment was fine. The checking account balance was fine, in the way that something can be technically above 0 and still feel like it's barely breathing. Sundays were the worst. Not because anything bad happened, just the accumulated weight of a weekend that cost more than it gave. $40 at the bar Friday, $60 for the group dinner Saturday, $20 for the Uber you split with people you didn't particularly want to go home yet. The money wasn't the main thing, though. It was the specific kind of tired you'd feel by Sunday afternoon. Not physical, not sleepy. More like a low-grade static in your head that didn't clear until Wednesday. You didn't have a word for it. You just knew the feeling. The spreadsheet happened on a Wednesday night in March. Not dramatic. You weren't having a breakdown or a revelation. You were just looking at your bank app, and the number didn't make sense given what you thought you'd spent. So you opened a blank sheet and went back through 3 months of transactions. Bars. Dinners. One weekend trip to Nashville for a bachelorette party you barely knew the bride for. Ubers. Cover charges. The birthday gift you split with the group via Venmo at 11 p.m. on a Friday. The number for the quarter was $1,580. Annualized. $6,240. You typed it into a compound interest calculator. $6,240 per year. 8% average return. 10 years. $95,400. You stared at that for a while. Then you closed the laptop and went to bed. But you didn't really sleep. You didn't quit anything officially. There was no announcement, no conversation, no dramatic exit from the group chat. You just started saying no to things that didn't clear a bar you hadn't consciously set until now. Cody's birthday on a rooftop downtown. You'd been to 4 of those in 18 months and remembered none of them distinctly. Pass. The group dinner for someone's promotion. You texted congratulations and sent a gift card. Dave's cabin weekend, you said you had something going on. The first few times people followed up. You sure? It'll be fun. You were sure. Ryan was the one who started with the jokes. Ryan worked 2 desks down from you, spent his weekends the same way the rest of the group did, and had a talent for making everything sound like a comment on your character. Becoming a monk? He said one Thursday. Finally got a girlfriend you're hiding from us? Ryan laughed too. It didn't quite reach his eyes. What you didn't know, what you'd only find out later, from Megan, was that Ryan had $14, spread across 3 credit cards, and had been quietly rotating balances for 8 months. He looked exactly like someone who was doing fine. He posted from the same rooftop bars, tagged the same restaurants, wore the same rotation of going out clothes. The performance was immaculate. The spreadsheet behind it was not. Meanwhile, the $520 a month you'd been spending on social performance started going somewhere else. 6 months in, you ran into Marcus at a coffee shop on 5th. Marcus had been in the group since college, easy to like, someone you genuinely enjoyed when the setting wasn't a bar at 11 on a Friday. He was surprised to see you. You talked for a few minutes. It was fine. Then, just as you were leaving, he said something that stayed with you. Heard you've been going hermit mode. He wasn't hostile. He wasn't concerned. It was more like observation. Like he was placing you in a category. And underneath it, barely audible, was the thing the comment genre never quite says out loud. You think you're doing something we're not. Nobody says that part directly. They say hermit mode. They say too good for us now, with a laugh that has a small hard thing inside it. What they mean is, Your absence is a comment on their presence. And they noticed before they noticed. Megan texted you privately around the same time. Hey, you okay? Haven't really seen you. Short, no edge, genuinely just checking. You wrote back 2 sentences. She replied with a thumbs up. She was doing her own version of the same thing. Quietly, differently, and you both understood that without saying it. The group chat continued. It just continued without you. What replaced the nights out wasn't anything impressive. Sunday mornings reviewing your brokerage account. A book you'd meant to read since 2022, finally read. An hour most evenings that used to go to getting ready to go somewhere, now just yours. You cooked more, which saved money, and also turned out to be something you were decent at, and had never known. You picked up a habit of walking in the mornings that sounds, in the retelling, like something someone says to seem healthy, but it was mostly just time with no obligations in it. The $520 a month became $400 in index funds, and $120 in a HISA. Not exciting. Not a strategy you'd post about. Just a number moving in one direction instead of another. You didn't optimize it. You didn't research the perfect allocation. You just set it automatic and left it alone, which turns out to be most of the work. 14 months in, your net worth crossed $30,000 for the first time. You didn't tell anyone. There was no one to tell, not in the way you would have announced it to a table of people over drinks. It was just a number in an app on your phone that hadn't been there before. A survey from around that time would have told you that more than 80% of millennials decline at least one social event per month because of money. That over a quarter of Americans feel genuine pressure to spend they don't have, just to maintain relationships with people who are doing the same thing for the same reason. You didn't have those numbers, you just had the quiet. The portfolio crossed $40,000 on a Tuesday in October. You noticed it while making coffee. The market had been up. Your automatic contribution had cleared. The number was just there. You looked at it for maybe 4 seconds. You closed the app. You poured your coffee. You went to work. No champagne, no screenshot, no one to text. That's the part people imagine incorrectly. The arrival. They picture some clean moment of recognition, some feeling that matches the size of the number. That's not how it goes. It goes like this: a Tuesday, a coffee, a number, a closed app. The milestone is anticlimactic by design. Real change doesn't announce itself. It just accumulates until one day you look up and the landscape is different and you don't remember exactly when it shifted. Ryan, you heard through Megan, had moved back in with his parents. Not permanently, just while he worked through some things. He seemed okay. He was still posting. Friday night, another group text, different occasion, same rooftop, same 14 messages with the gifts and the tagged location. You read it. The phone goes face down on the desk. Not because you can't afford it. Not because you don't like these people. Not because you've decided they're beneath you or you've cracked some code they haven't. You just did the math a long time ago, in a spreadsheet at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday in March, and then you kept doing it quietly for 2 years, and now the math has a different kind of answer than it used to. The race ends the day you stop running for people who were never really watching. Anyway, the notification badge climbs. You're asleep by 10:45. If this is the kind of story that makes you think differently about where your money and your energy actually goes, subscribe. There's more where this came from.